You're now tuned into the fourth season of Atypical Voices in Our Time, the official podcast of Chemistry Productions, a media education company. Let's get it started.
That's AVIOT.
Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome to the AVIOT podcast. I am Jay Stokes, your host for this evening, this Tuesday evening, when I am recording this episode. Now, I know we've said in the past that we're going to be releasing episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. There's a lot of news out there, and we want to make sure to cover as much of it as we possibly can.
Yes.
I want to start this episode by saying Happy Black History Month. Black History Month is still here to stay, no matter what anyone is telling you out there. And during this time in February, what we do is we honor the achievements, the accomplishments, the history of Black people in America, and I'll even expand it globally. Carter G. Woodson, who is credited as the founder of Black History Month, it was first Negro History Week, he wanted to expand it globally. He wanted to talk about the achievements of Black people throughout the world. And while Black achievement in America is wonderful, we know that our history as Black people, Black individuals, does not just start with this country. But I want to recognize all the Black people out there. I also want to challenge everyone that with Black history, make sure that you're teaching it yearly. This time, February, is a time to regroup. I compare this to Kwanzaa because I feel the same way about Kwanzaa as well, which I also celebrate, that this is a time to regroup and just get your mind right. Think about Black achievement, Black accomplishment, what it means to be a Black person. And then you can set goals for how to move forward. But I do believe that Black history needs to be taught yearly because there is such a concerted effort to do away with Black history and to make as though Black people haven't been integral in the United States and beyond. Black people shape cultures around the planet, whether in America, whether in Great Britain, whether in Jamaica, whether in Australia. Like, Black people are always shaping cultures, no matter where they are on this planet. So we have to always recognize that. What I will say is that in these United States, there is a concerted effort, it seems, by this current presidential administration, the supporters of white supremacy, gotta flat out say it, not gonna sugarcoat it, to do away with Black accomplishment, Black achievements. And unfortunately, we've been given this DEI label now. First it's woke, then it's something else. Oh, no. First it's thug, then it's woke, now it's DEI. I feel like these are other terms for the N-word, but they just don't want to say it, right?
Nope.
And the irony is these DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, they don't benefit Black people as much as other people, other groups, white women, Native Americans, the Latino population, Asians, disabled people, veterans. They tend to benefit more from DEI initiatives that promote diversity in the workplace or corporations, what have you, equity, inclusiveness. Other groups benefit more from that than we do. Damn. I can compare this to the My Brother's Keeper initiative that former President Barack Obama had instituted back when he was president. It was supposed to be something like when you saw him signing the, I guess, legislation or signing the paper that was kind of putting it into play, you saw Black boys next to him. But Black people didn't really benefit that much from my Brother's Keeper. So though we will be used to be the face of something, we don't really get the benefits. And it's really unfortunate. But here we are, the face of DEI. And with that, I have to segue into Target. Now, for those of you who don't know, Target, the company, the corporation, has rolled back its DEI initiatives, right? And there has been a lot of protest. There's been a lot of unrest. And as a result of that, they've been hit with a lawsuit. So currently, Target is being sued for allegedly concealing the risks of its diversity and social initiatives, leading to a backlash that caused customers to flee and the stock price of the Minneapolis-based retailer to plummet. So those who are investing in Target now are suing them because they're saying, hey, we invested in you and you put up these DEI initiatives. I think they also talked about environmental, social, and governance policies. And now they're rolling back on that. This is causing boycotts. This is causing backlash. People aren't supporting Target now. So now their stock prices are a little wonky and people who invested in Target are losing money. And because of that, they're suing. That's what happens when you don't do the right thing. By promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, we understand that Black people aren't the largest recipients of these initiatives. However, Black people did get some help from these initiatives. And by pulling away these initiatives from your company, now you have a backlash from people who supported your company because they thought you were, quote unquote, for the people, or they thought you were trying to be inclusive, trying to promote diversity. And because you're not doing that, you're paying the cost. That's karma. Man, I wish this karma would hit other people. Listen, I don't mean to be that person, but I gotta be that person today. I wish this karma would hit other people the same way. And it really comes down to your pockets. I know a lot of people want to quote Dr. King and say love conquers all and you only beat hate with love. No, you beat hate by getting in people's pockets. You have to hit them where it hurts, their money. A lot of people are moved by money and by power. If you strip them of their money and their power, guess what? They're going to concede. They're going to acquiesce. They're going to listen to what you have to say. That's how it works. Now, a lot of people like to go into war in order to get power or to make people bend the knee. I'm not a proponent of war, so I'm saying hit them where it hurts, their pockets, their wallets. That's how you can affect them, definitely. And this is what's happening in Target. We saw another situation where this happened with a church in DC recently. So a bit of good news. So I don't think any of you, well, no, some of you should know about the Proud Boys. So Proud Boys, for lack of better terms, is siren going on in the background. I never know how sensitive this microphone is when I'm talking. I don't know if it's catching things. Like my wife's watching TV in the other room, then I got the siren over here. So I don't know. So if there's any extra noises, please forgive me. Going back to what I was talking about. Basically, the Proud Boys are this white supremacist, kind of all male group that came about in the United States. I can go into a deep dive of their history in another episode, or I'll make a video on it and post it on the Chemistry Productions social media pages, something like that. But anyways, the Proud Boys, they vandalized a church called Metropolitan African Methodist Episcopal Church in Washington, D.C. back in 2020 during the insurrection, right? They went and vandalized it. They attended a Stop the Steal event in DC. Okay, so no. I'll take it back. It wasn't during the insurrection.
Okay.
Let me read this article right here. Basically, the Proud Boys had an incident on December 12th of 2020 when members of the all-male right-wing group attended a Stop the Steal event in Washington, D.C. And they attacked the Metropolitan AME Church by climbing over a fence to get onto church property, where they destroyed a Black Lives Matter sign. This is according to documents. Because of this, their actions, their behaviors, now this church, Metropolitan African American Episcopal Church, African AME Church for short, was granted ownership of the group's trademark. So basically the name Proud Boys and their merchandise, Metropolitan AME Church owns that now. So they can't sell merchandise. They can't use the Proud Boys slogan or anything to recruit new members. If they do that, that money has to be paid to the church. And this is how you get people back, hitting them in their pockets. That's how you do it. You take money from them, you take power from them. You have done away with the power. That's going to hurt them when they try to recruit other people, when they try to sell merchandise in order to keep their brand going. They won't be able to do that any longer because this church has the rights over their name and their likeness, kind of. And I'm loving it. I'm loving that this came about. I'm loving that this is justice. And this is all I ask for, justice. In a world of injustice where we have so many atrocities happening, whether people are being, their lives are being taken unjustly, people are being taken against their will, they're being assaulted. I love to hear stories like this. This is what needs to happen. So I remember Jay Random and I, my co-host on this podcast, we had talked about this on AVIOT Sunday Brew, which you all should check out on Sundays. If you can't hit the live or meet the live, then make sure to watch our replays. It's on our Chemistry Productions YouTube channel. And I try to share that as much as I can, but I'm only one person. I need a team. But anyways, we were talking about just strategy with this current presidential administration. There's a lot of hate groups that are coming around. There are a lot, well, they never went away. They're just more emboldened now to hop up and say, hey, I'm here, time to cause some destruction, right? So you see this happening throughout the United States. And I said, we need to mobilize, we need to plan how we're going to survive, how we're going to thrive during this time while this is all happening. And so I think part of it is legally, we have to plan accordingly. Legally, if there are ways to sue people, if there are ways to win court cases, if there are ways to take power away from far right groups, from extremist groups, from racist groups, that would be helpful.
Yes, sir.
So that is one strategy right there. Maybe I can do a video in the future that talks about just kind of ways to do this. Yeah, I think that's something to consider. But everyone that's listening, or people that feel that they can do this, just leave some comments, send us some emails, leave some comments under our videos, under our podcast when we're streaming, and just give comments regarding how do you think we can mobilize? How do you think we can plan to help people out to do better while under what I call tyranny in the US? It's ridiculous. We got these tariff situation. Me and Jay Randall, we're going to talk about that on Thursday's episode, but there's too much going on. It's really ridiculous. Speaking of legal, I actually wanted to get into this Jonathan Majors story. So for those of you who don't know, Jonathan Majors, famous actor, he played in Marvel as Kang the Conqueror and Victor Timely. He was in the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. No, Ant-Man Quantumania. He was in Ant-Man Quantumania movie. He was also in the Loki TV series. And he was supposed to be a big bad who was going to be all throughout the different Marvel movies. He was also in Creed 3 with Michael B. Jordan. Very talented actor. If you're listening to the AVIOT podcast on a streaming service, make sure to leave a rating and a review so we can grow our platform. He was involved in a dispute with his now ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari, and it spilled out into the street where they were struggling over, I guess, his phone, and then he was running up the street. I think this is in New York. And people caught wind of it. He goes to trial. He gets charged, I believe, with 2 misdemeanors. How I looked at this whole situation was this was a toxic couple, but because Jonathan Major, I think it even happened before he was charged, because he was involved in this legal battle, he was dropped by Marvel. And so he wasn't playing Kang the Conqueror, Victor Timely, those different characters, the big bad villain that was supposed to be across these different movies anymore. He's not playing that anymore. And I thought that was premature. I looked at it as, yes, we should not be harming our partners. Yes, we should not be abusive towards partners. However, I feel that this whole situation, there was some gray area. It wasn't as cut and dry as, say, an Ezra Miller, who had several bad incidents that were public, and he still had acting gigs. Jonathan Majors had this. Outside of this, he really didn't have that crazy of a, I guess, reputation. His reputation wasn't that bad that we know of. And the audience generally liked his performances as Kang the Conqueror, Victor Timely. They liked it. So it was very unfortunate that Marvel let him go. But now, reportedly, Marvel is thinking about bringing him back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because since they got rid of his character, it kind of messes with the storylines that they had set up with him in mind. So Marvel's been spinning their wheels. They've been trying to introduce new villains. I know Robert Downey Jr. is supposed to be coming back as Dr. Doom, who's a big bad within the Marvel comics. But still, the Kang the Conqueror storyline has not ended. So they're thinking about bringing Jonathan Majors back. This is not just because they're trying to be nice. I think that Marvel has taken a financial hit with how they're doing their movies and their television shows, and there's a lot of confusion, maybe not a lot of support from fans like they used to have. And Jonathan Majors, he was a very good asset to Marvel. So I think that the thought to bring him back is something they feel could help them out financially.
Yes.
I don't think they would just be doing it just to close a storyline. I think they have enough talented writers to get around that. But I think for financial reasons, they're trying to bring him back. So despite the lawsuits, despite that situation that happened, I mean, it's over and done with. He's moved on. He seems to be in a healthy relationship with Megan Good. Last I checked, I think they're still together. And he has an upcoming movie that's supposed to be airing, I think, on March 21st. Let me double check. I think it's March 21st. Yes. And it's called Magazine Dreams. So I might check that out. I like Jonathan Majors. I haven't checked out his other stuff. I just know him from Creed 3 and the Marvel television shows and movies. That's all I know him from. But I definitely will check out this next film, I believe. Yeah, I don't see why not. He's a talented actor, so I want to see where he's at now in terms of his acting. Just because you took a break, just because you were dealing with these legal matters doesn't mean that you're going to lose your acting chops. You would hope not, right? So there's that. Actually, I got one more thing to talk about dealing with law. Maybe I got to put that in the name of this podcast episode, something to do with law, right? Law and Order? But Law and Order is too cheesy. That's the name of a television show already. And I don't know if I've used that for a podcast episode name before, Law and Order. So you know of the hip hop star, Aubrey Drake Graham. He was suing UMG. He was suing Spotify. He was alleging that they were trying to inflate the numbers, or they were using bots to try and inflate streams for Kendrick Lamar's song, Not Like Us. Yeah. If you listen to this podcast enough, you know we have covered the Aubrey Drake Graham, Kendrick Lamar hip hop beef for some time now. And I'm just bringing it back up because there's a lot that just happened just a couple of days ago. Just a couple of days ago regarding this. So basically, the song Not Like Us, it's a diss record towards Aubrey Drake Graham. If you don't know what a diss record is, then please look up something in the history of hip hop.
Oh, wow.
So that was the song by Kendrick Lamar. Aubrey felt that it was unfair how he was depicted in this song, and he felt that the record label was against him, and so he had filed a lawsuit and yada, yada, yada. He's not doing well with that lawsuit. He's not doing well with it at all.
No.
And he had announced that he was going on a tour. I think part of his tour was in Australia. Yes. So it's called the Anita Max Wind Tour. And so he's actually having, from what I last saw, he was having some troubles selling his tickets, like selling out all of his tickets for this tour. So if I'm looking at this article right here, and sorry if I'm dragging on, I just trying to make sure I get this right. So he was trying to sell tickets for this tour, and they were cheaper than his concert ticket prices usually are. And so he was finding that the tickets weren't selling out, even though they were cheaper than what he wanted. I do think that his losing this rap battle, hip hop battle, and his actions afterwards with these lawsuits, I do think that has taken a hit to his reputation, a hit that has gone global. And I do believe that people just don't want to hear from him, because a lot of his songs, right? He'll have tough talk on his rap songs, talking about how tough he is, how he got mob ties and all that stuff. Why are you talking about that, but then you're suing over a song that's calling you names or making allegations towards you? If you really are a tough guy, then that should just roll off your shoulder. You should be able to take it off on the chest and just keep it pushing, right? Then you have the other Aubrey who sings all these love songs to women, and it's all this sentimental, emotional music. However, he's shown himself to be a pretty toxic guy, a toxic guy who disrespects women. You could go Serena Williams, Esmeralda Spalding, Esperanza Spalding, and Rihanna. Who else? Even his own baby mother, the mother of his child. He's disrespected all of them because he was in his feelings about maybe not getting a certain music award, not being able to date somebody. So you're singing these songs, these melodic songs, trying to cater to women, but at the same time, you're showing yourself to be a misogynist. I think that the writing's on the wall now, and a lot of people just ain't buying it. Obviously, he's going to have his fans that still stick with him forever, just because he's a megastar and he's made music that they can relate to or music that they like. But I think on the whole, a lot of people are fed up with his antics. And that's why he's in the position that he's in. I segue that to the Grammy Awards that just passed, and we saw that his competition, Kendrick Lamar, swept in his categories for Grammys. Kendrick Lamar was nominated in 5 categories during the Grammys, and he won all 5 awards. He got the song. He got nominated for a Grammy Award for the top song. He got nominated for top rap song. He got nominated for a music video, rap performance, and record. And he won all 5 of those awards for that song, Not Like Us, the one that caused Aubrey to file these lawsuits. Talk about something. And you know what's crazy? In one of Aubrey's diss tracks towards Kendrick Lamar during this back and forth of the hip hop beef. So with hip hop beefs, you know that they make records that go back and forth. If you don't know, please look up the history of rap and hip hop beefs so you can understand. And one of the songs that Aubrey had made towards Kendrick, which was a song that made some crazy allegations against Kendrick. Aubrey said, Kendrick just opened his mouth. Somebody hand him a Grammy right now. He's trying to poke fun saying that, oh, well, Kendrick is always getting Grammy Awards. Every time he says something, he's just the poster child. People just love him. He got 5 Grammys.
Wow.
Not someone just hand him a Grammy right now. Someone just hand him 5 Grammys right now. Listen, for people like me who are fans of Kendrick Lamar's music, we were just sitting back laughing, having a field day. I didn't watch the Grammys. I was looking at updates on Threads. My cousin-in-law, my cousin, my friends, they were sending me messages about the different Grammy Awards that went out. And it's just hilarious because Aubrey's music, the allegations that he made towards Kendrick in his music, they aged like milk. They aged very badly. And Kendrick's walking away, got these awards, and now he's about to head off to perform during the Super Bowl. Hey, this man is winning.
Yes.
Now, I say all this about the Grammys, and I still have the understanding that the Grammys, a lot of times they get it wrong when it comes to rewarding Black excellence, when it comes to truly honoring Black people. The Grammys have, dare I say it, been bigoted in a lot of their practices when it comes to awarding artists, one of them being Beyonce, right? Beyonce won Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter. And I personally don't think Cowboy Carter was an excellent work, like a lot of her fans are praising it to be. I actually thought that her last album, Renaissance, was better than Cowboy Carter. But I think that she got the Grammy Award for Album of the Year this time. It was like a makeup award because Beyonce, for as talented, as awarded, as decorated as she is, she's never won an Album of the Year at the Grammys. And that's what I'm talking about. The Grammys are not the barometer for success. The Grammys, because you do or do not win a Grammy, that doesn't make you better or worse than somebody else. Remember, Macklemore won a Grammy for Rap Album of the Year when he released The Heist. Do you know what album that won a Grammy for Rap Album of the Year over? Good Kid, Mad City.
That's terrible.
A classic album that is still played today. That I think is still on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. People still play music from Good Kid, Mad City. That album is gonna stand the test of time. It's gonna be like Michael Jackson, where his music just keeps on being played through all these different decades. That's gonna be Good Kid, Mad City. Have you heard of a song from The Heist ever since it won that Grammy? I don't even, pop them tags. I'm gonna pop them tags. Only got $20 in my pocket, right? You don't even remember Macklemore's lyrics. The only thing you remember are the hooks. There's that, and the city can't hold us, and the city can. That other song too, you just know the hooks. You know the chorus. You don't know the actual lyrics to the songs. because no one cares. They're not captivating. The lyrics to the songs are not captivating.
No.
Macklemore, no offense, I'm just going on a rant. There's no way, if we're giving awards for highest rap album in the land during that time period, there is no award show where Macklemore should be winning over Kendrick Lamar that year.
Nope.
No. So I'm saying all that to say that the Grammy Awards have never done that great of a job of rewarding Black excellence. By their standard, Beyonce should have won album of the... No, sorry, not by their standard. By the standard of cultural impact, popularity, Beyonce should have been one album of the year for one of her albums.
Yes.
For one of her albums. Come on. Really? So I do think that them giving Cowboy Carter a Grammy for album of the year, it was a makeup award. And also, Jay-Z, Beyonce's husband, did call out the award show last year for how they were treating Beyonce. So I just knew that she was going to win album of the year this year. It wasn't a surprise to me. And she might have been surprised, but it wasn't a surprise to me. I knew that she was going to get it. And kudos to her. I mean, as much as I don't really care for the Grammys and what they represent, I can still say I'm happy for my Black people when they are successful. I know that there are a lot of racists out there that are upset that Beyonce won album of the year. But all I got to say is, how do you explain Macklemore? How do you explain Beyonce not having album of the year by your standards when it comes to culture, when it comes to popularity? How has she not won the album of the year up until now? Cowboy Carter was a decent project. It's not my cup of tea, but I will say it was a decent project, and it's still moving the culture. A lot of people like that album. From what I've seen, at first, I was like, nah, I don't think this album is all that. I don't think people are really paying attention to it except for Beyonce fans. But it seems like no, because remember, during Christmas, when you had the football games going on, Beyonce had her halftime performance. Shoot, they made a whole Netflix mini movie on Beyonce's special that people could go back and watch over and over and over again. She has some bangers on Cowboy Carter, I will say. So, hey, she got it. Kudos to her. Congrats to Doechii. I'm really a Doechii fan, a fan of her music, I should say. And she got her Grammy this year. Rhapsody finally got a Grammy. So it's nice that these people are being awarded. And I cannot escape from the fact that these Grammy Awards, these are awards in which society looks at individuals who have it as, I guess, elevated. It helps with their social status. So it can help with their careers. It can help them get more opportunities. It can help them make more money. So that fact doesn't escape me. So I can see the Grammys' importance when it comes to that. However, I don't think Prince has ever won a Grammy. Quick correction, Prince actually did win Grammy Awards. That was oversight on my part. My bad. I don't think Tupac has ever won a Grammy. I don't think Biggie has ever won a Grammy. Snoop Dogg has never won a Grammy, I don't think. And still, these people are cultural icons. These people have done, their music has transcended time. Their music has impacted so many people, not just in America, but globally. So, and let me double check. I don't think Snoop Dogg has a Grammy. But I think it's important. Yeah, Snoop Dogg doesn't have a Grammy. I think it's important to understand that the Grammys don't define how great an artist is. They don't. What defines how great an artist is the staying power of their music. How the music makes people around the world, in this country, America, feel. That's what's important.
And now for a quick commercial break.
Hey guys, as you can hear, we are unapologetic in our opinions. We may be politically incorrect or possibly wrong, but don't knock us for being ourselves and saying what many are too afraid to admit out loud. Anyways, if you have any thoughts or questions about our show, email us at chemistryproductions@gmail.com. That's K3MISTRY productions@gmail.com. We'll be sure to address whatever you have to say.
With that being said, let's get into updates. I spent a lot of time on this show, as I do in many shows, talking about Black folk, my Black people. I am unapologetic about that. I am a Black individual. A lot of times we're overlooked, and so I'm going to give praise where praise is due. I'm going to talk about other topics. However, I lead with Black first because I am Black. Sorry, not sorry. With that being said, this Black History Month, I'm trying something different. In the past, I've tried to post something every day regarding Black History Month because I just think this is a good time to kind of capitalize off of that, and people are paying more attention. So I feel I can get more Black history facts out there. This year, I'm not doing the post every day. I'm going to try to do as many posts as possible. And I believe in years following, what I'm going to do is during this month, it's going to give me more of a time to highlight more of Black history, just like focus more on that and make that more of a dominant theme in the videos that I put out on social media or in the topics that I talk about within Chemistry Productions all over the place. And so that's how that will be. Just like for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to post about domestic violence awareness every day. Instead, I'm going to make that be more of the focus of that month, if that makes sense. And so with Black history, I still will do things throughout the year that speak on the Black experience. I mean, on our YouTube channel, on our TikTok page, I don't even know if TikTok's going to be here in a year, but we have a dedicated portion of that or a section to Black history and Black affairs, because Black people are some of the largest consumers of media in this nation, the United States, and media has a huge impact on how Black people are treated, how Black people are viewed. So I do believe that Black people have a special place that they need in order to be serviced, or they need to be addressed regarding media, their media consumption, the messages that go out there. And plus I'm Black, so I'm going to do something for my own. I don't see anything wrong with that. You have people who are Indian, they have their own India town, they do their own thing. You got Koreatown, Chinatown. So why me being Black can I do something specifically for Black people on a platform that I am a part of? I don't see anything wrong with that. I feel like I've been doing a lot of asides in this episode, but it keeps the ball going. Let's get into the topic of the day. Lastly, and this is going to connect both the Black element that I've been talking about and the political sphere that I was mentioning earlier in the episode. I came across a TikTok video, actually Jay Random sent it to me, where this individual was talking about these figures, Umar Johnson, Tariq Nasheed, and Boyce Watkins. They are prominent figures within the Black collective. Boyce Watkins focuses on financial literacy, focuses more in that realm. Tariq Nasheed, he has his documentaries that speak on Black history, and he is the founder of this FBA, Foundational Black Americans movement, a movement that I have problems with. However, I understand where they're coming from in some of their frustrations. I also critique them in terms of what is your angle? What are you trying to do? Because a lot of times they're criticizing people who are not foundational Black Americans. Really, it just means Black American. People whose family is the descendants of chattel slavery in the United States. I get their critiques of people who are not FBA. However, what is your goal? How are you going to help fellow FBAs out? Or is it just that you just want to argue with people all day? My thing is, there has to be a plan. You could be a part of a group, but being a part of that group, I do think that you should work towards uplifting that group and helping them be in a better position if they are marginalized, which Black Americans are, who would be considered FBAs. And then you have Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson is being a Pan-Africanism. That's me. That's more of my mindset. I'm a Pan-Africanist. I believe in the global collective, Black people around the globe being one family, one unit, working together, recognizing our differences, honoring each other's cultures, but still working together. But Umar Johnson is also a problematic figure as well. He is supposed to build a school that was supposed to be for Black boys, supposed to build another school for Black girls. I don't see where those schools are. He has done things, I think, that have been helpful. He has given Black people a sense of pride about themselves. He has made us laugh with his sayings and the memes involving him. Black Queens Forever's Nobody's Never. I mean, that is hilarious. I laugh when I see that saying all the time. So all three of these figures, though they have their issues, they still have done some good, right? You take the good with the bad. I do believe that a lot of times they're more detrimental than is needed. And This TikTok video, this individual was speaking on those three figures, and he was asking, why haven't they been vocal about this current administration in America as they have been under the Obama presidency?
Where's Dr. Umar? Where's Tariq Nasheed? Where's Boyce Watkins? Well, when you go and you look at their social media, you're going to find something extremely surprising. These are three men who kind of built their careers off of being advocates for African-American people and speaking out against systemic issues, systemic racism, and white supremacy. And they were very critical of Barack Obama and the Obama administration. And I'm not saying that you should not be. I think that we should hold the feet of our elected officials to the fire. But nonetheless, with these three men, I'm noticing that they're exceptionally quiet when it comes to Donald Trump. Well, when I follow Boyce Watkins on Twitter and Tariq Nasheed, what I'm noticing is that a lot of their posts are oriented around justifying the way Trump is moving with not only African-American people, but other marginalized groups as well.
And to that, I say, I believe a lot of times Black people find it easier to criticize one another, especially when they have high expectations of one another. So I think that with the Obama presidency, and he had his flaws, he did, there was a lot of expectation from certain Black people that he would come across and do this sweeping radical change in America that would help Black people out collectively. We would get our reparations, and the police would stop harming us, and we would stop being discriminated against in large numbers. I think that was a lot of the sentiment. I do think that he has done some things that have helped Black people out. At first, I was of the mindset that Obama didn't do anything for us. However, the Affordable Care Act, it did help Black people, even if it wasn't necessarily for us. I believe he did instill a sense of pride in being Black. Just seeing a Black man have a Black wife and 2 Black children be in the highest office in the United States, that does instill a sense of pride, and it makes Black kids want to work harder to be professionals and be good contributors of society and really take their lives seriously. So I do think that the Obama presidency wasn't all bad, for Black people, I should say. However, I do think that there was a lot of expectations that Black people placed on him. And those three figures, Umar, Tariq, and Boyce, I think those were three figures that also placed a lot of huge expectations on him. I do think, to a certain extent, people are afraid of this current administration, and they're afraid to buck back. They're afraid to call it out because they don't know what the repercussions are going to be. But my thing is, listen, if y'all bold enough to talk about Barack, y'all should be bold enough to talk about anybody else. Keep that same energy. Maybe I'll bring up this topic with Jay Random when we have our next episode. So I want y'all to ponder on that. For those of you who know of more radical Black figures that are seemingly quiet during this current presidential administration in the US, I want you to think about that and think about why you think that is. With that being said, thank you all for tuning into this episode right here. It was wonderful speaking with you all, and we will see you next time.
So go a little something like this.